Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Heinrich and I'm the real nuclear physicist. Today we'll be answering a very important question from Eric Dubay. The question Eric asks today is Flat Earth a cult? Well, it's not going to be a long video. Yes it is. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great... Just kidding. Let's take a look at this video.
This past decade, there has been a revival, a resurgence, and a veritable renaissance surrounding the topic of cosmology.
Eric, we're not even 10 seconds into this video and you're already lying. If you look at that line, the peak at the back is above the eye level line, whereas the peak in front is almost below the eye level line. If this video is going to start out with lies, then I'm going to have to take a guess that it's going to continue with lies.
Tens of millions of people have done personal experiments, read ancient texts, and found inconsistencies and discrepancies with conventional teachings. By delving deeper into these issues and exposing hidden truths contained therein, a great number of lies and deceptions have also surfaced, causing a polarizing rift in perspective and paradigm. These people who have endeavored to explore outside the box, or more accurately, outside the ball, are now being labeled flat earthers, and called by many a cult.
Thinking outside the box is something that's usually encouraged in science because that's how we get to new breakthroughs. What you're referencing as thinking outside of the box, or outside of the ball, as you call it, is backwards thinking. If you think that thinking outside the box is a cosmology that's already been disproven, then you need to think again.
But is this idea of a level plain Earth, and people who advocate for it, truly cultish?
A level plain Earth, Eric? That video you're using shows the opposite. In fact, one moment the Earth is bending the completely wrong way. So that's probably a fisheye lens. And that's how you get the horizon to be straight.
What actually defines a cult, cult behavior, cult ideology? And does flat Earth fit the bill?
Let's take a look at what is a cult. So the definition of a cult is a system of religious devotion directed towards a figure or an object. So, you guys religiously try to prove that the Earth is flat, and having the Earth flat is actually an object. So, there you go. It's a flat earthers cult. If we look at a different definition of cult, a person or a thing that is popular or fashionable with a group of people, then once again, the flat earth is an object. It's gaining popularity with a certain group of people, you, flat earthers. So yes, again, flat earth is a cult. You just can't get around that one, Eric.
Merriam-Webster defines cult as, quote, a religion and its body of adherents, regarded as unorthodox, spurious, or falsified, in great devotion to a person, idea, object, movement, or work. Wikipedia furthers the definition, explaining that cults, quote, range in size from local groups with few members to international organizations with millions, and require unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices.
Eric, your definition is not helping your case. In fact, you do have a great devotion towards an object, and that great devotion and object is flat Earth. The only thing that's not correlating with your definition of a cult and flat earthers is the millions of followers around the world. There's no record of how many flat earthers there are around the world, but it's probably not millions, Eric. Be honest. Furthermore, unwavering devotion, like I said, you spent your whole life trying to prove that the earth is flat, going against modern, proven science.
Moreover, colloquially speaking, quote, in the English-speaking world, the term cult often carries derogatory connotations. In this sense, it has been considered a subjective term used as an ad hominem attack against groups with differing doctrines or practices.
Colloquially, cult doesn't always have a negative meaning. In fact, if there's a cult classic film, it doesn't mean it's a film that's classic to the bad cults that you're trying to reference here. It's a film that's classic to a certain group of people or classic to a certain portion of society. That's why it's called cult classic, not because it's part of a bad cult.
Religion scholar Megan Goodwin has defined the term cult, when used by the layperson, as simply being shorthand for a religion I don't like.
I don't agree with that definition of a cult, because it's not a religion that you don't like. In fact, there's lots of religions a lot of people don't like, and they don't call it cults. I think a more accurate description between a religion or a cult is time. Over time, certain cults become culturally acceptable, and they form religions, whereas a cult that's not acceptable or has been around for a short amount of time is called a cult.
When considering this connotation, it is no surprise people taught since childhood that heliocentric globe Earth cosmology is the only reasonable, rational possibility would perceive those who dared consider other alternatives as crazy and cultish.
The reason why heliocentrism, or well, not really heliocentrism, but the fact that the Earth is not flat, is taught as the only acceptable model is because it's the only acceptable, proven model. In South Africa, I'm not sure if it's the same in the United States, but in South Africa, we start to learn about the planets and space only about from grade 7, which is 13 years of age. It's not the first thing we learn in school.
Furthermore, if people exploring different cosmologies found substantial empirical evidence and demonstrable experimental proofs, codified them into books, began meeting together in groups, and started an intellectual movement against the establishment, it is almost inevitable to be attacked and labeled as, quote, a religion they don't like.
If someone comes up with a new theory for the universe, and it is substantiated by experiment, then all the experiments done thereafter would be used to prove that model. In science we say you can't prove a negative. Let's take an example. If I tell you there's an onion orbiting the Earth, the burden is on me to show you the proof and experiments that I conducted to find this onion. If I've done 1 million experiments to find the onion and I don't find the onion, then the logical conclusion would mean the onion isn't there. So, you say the Earth is flat, you go out and try to do experiments to prove the Earth is flat, your experiments show the opposite. So what does that mean? The opposite is true.
So if we were only speaking to colloquial connotation, then clearly the concept of flat Earth and the recent rise of flat earthers would seem to many like a cult.
That photo you have there pointing to the teacher that is ignorant and the children blindly following her. Only reason I'd say that might be true is because she has Antarctica pointing upwards.
But the real definition is the denotation, and when considered closely, it is actually the heliocentric globe Earth cosmology and its apologist adherents who truly display cult-like behavior. For starters, literally every modern-day flat earther began believing the heliocentric globe model, because it is presented by the mainstream media and education system as absolute, undeniable gospel truth. No alternative cosmologies are even considered.
So every modern flat earther believed that the Earth was a globe. And then you got smacked over the head and start believing the Earth is flat. There's no logic in going from the Earth is a sphere to it's a flat plane.
And students are told that flat Earth was a false, fringe worldview believed only by our ignorant ancient ancestors.
The only reason you get that look when you say the Earth is flat is because usually you say it at a flat Earth conference and it's the flat earthers staring back at you.
There will even be a wiki fact check under this very video, warning you that, quote, flat Earth is an archaic and scientifically disproven conception of Earth's shape.
The Wiki Fact Check is just there to show people that flat Earth has been disproven, and it's a bunch of people now going back to a cosmology that's been disproven. Now that you're showing that 200 proofs video, I've been busy debunking it. The videos are on my channel, so please go have a look. I really appreciate that.
Anyone becoming skeptical of the globe has to quietly do their own deep research into alternative concepts, deal with crippling cognitive dissonance, overcome generations of groupthink.
I think we're going to close it off on this image. Last comment. Nobody in the scientific community says trust the science. The scientific community works. You do an experiment and you document your results. You give it to your peers. That's why it's called peer review. They do the same experiment and they verify your results. If they get the same results, it's proven. If they don't get the same results, you do the experiment over and see why they didn't get the same results. Like I said, we're done for today. Flat Earth, yes, it's a cult by any and every definition that Eric has mentioned here today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm Heinrich, the real nuclear physicist, and I'll see you next time.